Hi, I'm Lily.
And I'm John,
Welcome to Easy English Learning Podcast.
and today you'll learn something new.
Have you ever tried to help a friend with something in English and then suddenly felt like you were being too bossy?
Yeah, I've definitely had that moment. Like, I wanted to be helpful, but then I realized my words sounded like I was scolding them.
Exactly. That's the problem. Using should can feel like a command, even when you're just trying to give a friendly suggestion.
I remember once, I told my friend, "You should really study more," and he just kind of stared at me. Like, I wasn't helping, I was making it worse.
That's a good example. You should sounds correct, but it can come across as pressure. Like someone's telling you what you're failing at.
Right? It's not about the grammar, it's about how it makes the other person feel.
And that's the real issue. We're not just learning English words, we're learning how to connect with people.
So maybe the question isn't, is this grammar right? But does this sound like I care or like I'm judging?
Yes, and that's what this episode is really about. It's not about being perfect. It's about being kind, even in small ways like how you give advice. You know, when I think about should, I realize it's not just a grammar rule, it's a tone. Like, if someone says you should wear a coat, it's not just about the weather. It feels like they're judging you for not doing it already.
Yeah, I've been there. I once saw my friend walking outside in winter with just a light jacket. I wanted to help, so I said, "You should wear a coat." And honestly, I didn't mean to sound like a parent, but that's exactly how it came out.
That's the thing should carries weight. It's not neutral. It's like saying you're wrong for not doing this, even if you're just trying to be kind.
Exactly. I remember once I told my sister, "You should eat more vegetables," and she rolled her eyes. I wasn't trying to lecture her, I just wanted her to be healthier, but it came across like I was criticizing her whole life.
Right? That's the power of should. It's not about the advice, it's about the feeling it gives. It can make people feel guilty even if they're not doing anything wrong.
And it's not always bad. I mean, think about a doctor telling a patient, "You should stop smoking." That's serious. That's not a suggestion, it's a warning. So in that case, should is actually the right choice.
Yes, so it's not that should is bad. It's about context. When it's about health, safety, or big decisions, should works. But when it's about small things like what to do on a weekend or whether to take the bus or walk, it can feel too heavy.
I think that's the key. It's not about being polite. It's about matching the tone to the moment. If you're just trying to help, not fix, then should might be too much.
So maybe we need a softer tool, something that still gives advice but doesn't make the other person feel like they're being scolded.
I've started thinking about that. Like, instead of "you should do this," maybe just asking, "Why don't you try it?" Feels more like a friend saying, "Hey, this might help." Not "you're failing at life."
Exactly. And that's what we're going to explore next, a way to give advice that feels like a suggestion, not a command.
Because sometimes, the best help isn't telling someone what to do. It's just gently inviting them to consider it.
Imagine this, it's Saturday afternoon, and your friend is just lounging on the couch, scrolling through their phone, looking a bit bored. You want to help, right? Maybe suggest something fun to do?
Yeah, I know that feeling. I've seen my friends just chilling on the couch, staring at the ceiling, and I think, man, they could be doing something else.
Exactly. And my first thought is usually, you should go for a walk. But then I pause and consider that might come across as them being lazy.
Yeah, I've said that before too. You should go for a walk. And honestly, I didn't mean to sound like a teacher, but it came out sounding like, "You're lazy," even though that wasn't my intention.
Exactly. It's not about the walk, it's how you phrase it. But what if I said, why don't you go for a walk instead?
That feels different. Like, it's not a command. It's more like an invitation to consider it.
Exactly. Why don't you turns it into a question? It gives them space. They don't have to commit right away. It's not a rule, it's just a suggestion.
I've noticed native speakers use this a lot. If someone's stressed, they might say, "Why don't you take a break?" Not, "You should take a break." That one feels softer, like, "Hey, maybe this would help. What do you think?"
Yeah, and the grammar is simple. You just use the base verb after why don't you, like why don't you try the new coffee shop or why don't you call your mom? No should, no pressure.
It's like a gentle nudge, not pushing, just, "Hey, this might be nice. And the best part, they can say, no, I don't want to, and it doesn't feel like they're failing.
Right? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about connection. When you say, why don't you? You're not telling them what to do. You're just sharing an idea.
I tried it last weekend. My friend was stuck at home and I said, why don't you watch that movie you've been wanting to see? And she actually smiled. Like, it felt like I was being a friend, not a boss.
That's the power of it. Just by asking instead of telling, you change the whole tone.
It's funny how a small change in words can make someone feel heard, not judged.
And it's not even about being perfect. It's about choosing the right tool for the moment. Like, why don't you isn't for every situation, but for little everyday things. It's perfect.
I think I'll start using it more, not just for advice, but even for small things like, why don't you try the blue shirt? Instead of, you should wear the blue shirt.
Exactly. It's not about grammar. It's about how your words land. And why don't you land like a friend, not a teacher?
So maybe the real lesson isn't learn the rule, but learn how to care, even in how you speak.
So let's take a step back and look at the big picture here.
Yeah, I think it helps to see it like tools in a toolbox. You don't use a hammer to fix a light bulb, right?
Exactly. Should and why don't you are like different tools.
And the key is not which one is correct, but which one fits the situation.
Like, if you're a doctor and someone's smoking, saying you should quit isn't bossy. It's serious. It's about health, safety. That's when should works.
But if your friend is stressed and you say you should take a break, it can still sound like a lecture, even if you mean well.
Right? So here's the rule of thumb I've started using.
Oh, I like that, rule of thumb.
If you're in a position of authority, like a teacher, doctor, or parent, should is okay. It's expected.
But with friends, co-workers, or people you're trying to connect with, that's when why don't you feels better.
It's not about being fake. It's about tone.
I remember once I said to my friend, you should learn more English, and I could tell he just shut down.
Yeah, that's the problem. It sounds like you're judging their effort, not supporting it.
But if I'd said, why don't you try that new podcast? It would have felt like I was sharing something cool, not telling him what he's missing.
Exactly. It's the same advice, but the mood is totally different.
It's like one feels like a command, the other feels like a suggestion.
And that's the real skill, knowing when to be direct and when to be soft.
Not because you're afraid to speak, but because you care about how your words land.
Like, if you want to give a strong warning about safety or a big decision, should is fine.
But if you're just helping someone try something new or making a casual suggestion, why don't you is way kinder.
It's not about being perfect. It's about being thoughtful.
And honestly, that's what makes conversations feel real. Not correct, but human.
So the takeaway isn't never use should, it's know when to use it.
And when you're not the expert, when you're just a friend, why don't you is usually the better choice.
It gives space. It invites. It doesn't pressure.
It's not about fixing someone. It's about sharing an idea like, hey, this might help. What do you think?
And that's how you build connection, not distance.
Yeah, a little softness in your words can make a big difference in how someone feels.
So remember, when you're giving advice, ask yourself,
Do I want to be helpful or do I want to be heard?
and that's when you choose your tool.
Should for serious stuff.
Why don't you for friendship? So, let's wrap this up with something simple but powerful.
Absolutely. The best part isn't learning a rule, it's putting it into practice.
Exactly. Your challenge today is to find one moment and say, why don't you, instead of you should.
For example, if your friend is stuck on a mundane task or undecided about their weekend plans.
Or even something small, like suggesting a new app they could try, instead of telling them they should.
I've been doing this all week, and honestly, it feels lighter, like I'm not pushing, just sharing.
And the other person? They don't feel judged, they feel supported.
I tried it with my coworker yesterday. He was stressed about a report. I said, why don't you take a short break? And he actually smiled.
That's the kind of moment that makes all the difference.
It's not about being perfect. It's about being kind.
And that's what makes English feel real. Not just correct, but human.
So go ahead, try it today. Say, why don't you once? Just once.
And if you do, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment and share your advice for improving English listening skills.
Maybe a tip or even a story.
Great. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe.
It really helps us keep making these meaningful conversations.
And don't forget to like the video.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.